and welcome to another episode of the Content Marketing Cheat Sheet podcast. I'm your host, Nina Vielvaso, and if you want to know how to build a personal brand online and turn passion into profit with content marketing, you came to the right place. And today I'm sitting here in my green sweater, in my green social wisdom sweater, because it's a little bit chillier. It's mid-November, the year's almost over, it's crazy. Really, it's crazy to me that we're already here in November and you are here with me. So anyways, I really like this color. I'm such a fan of a deep forest green, but I'm not here to talk about my sweater or my fashion, but I'm here to provide value. And today I prepared another fun episode for us because I want to tell you how you can get more people to consume your content. The great thing about content marketing is that you can use content marketing to attract new clients, but also to nurture existing relationships. And if you want more people to consume your content, you need a solid strategy to drive traffic to your channels and increase post engagement. And I compiled my top tips on how you can increase customer engagement. So let's dive right in. You start by really understanding what your ideal audience wants to consume. So you have to ask yourself, what type of content does my ideal audience want? And I want to split up that question into two parts. Number one, if you already have an existing audience, and number two, if you're barely starting out, so if you're starting from scratch. First, let's take a look at if you already have an audience. So let's say you have an audience, you get post engagement, but it's not the greatest. So how can you take your average post engagement and increase that so more of your followers will consume your content? And a great strategy that works for me that I want to share with you is simply asking your audience what they want to see, what type of content they want to see from you. And you can go about it two ways. Number one, you can go to your Instagram stories and you click on that little sticker icon, and from there you select the Q&A sticker. And you can start by an open-ended question. So you can ask your audience, you can ask your followers, what type of content they want to see from you, what type of content they want to consume more of, or what kind of content they want you to produce. Put it out there and wait for those answers to come in. If you already have an audience, there's a good chance that you will get response to your question. And the second approach that you can take, you can go onto social media and just post an in-feed post. And you can post an in-feed post pretty much everywhere. You can go to Twitter, you can go to LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, anywhere where you're active. You can even create real content asking your audience what they want to see. So once you created the post, in your caption, you want to encourage them to leave a comment about the type of content they want to learn about, the type of content that they want you to produce. So these strategies you can use if you already have an audience in place that you can ask. But let's say you're starting from scratch. What can you do? If you're starting from scratch, you can go to Google Trends or Twitter's trending hashtags. You find Google Trends if you just type in Google Trends, and you will see an entire screen of things that are currently trending, what people are searching online, what people are talking about. And if you go onto Twitter, if you go to the little home icon or the search icon, you can see all the trending hashtags that people are currently using on Twitter. Now, utilizing Google Trends or Twitter's hashtags will give you an understanding of what people are currently talking about. If those topics are on brand, then go ahead and create content around them. But keep in mind that some of the events are really short-lived. So, for example, people might talk about, if you are creating content for sports games or you create content around the NFL, those trending topics or those things that people search right now might be very short-lived, so they might only live there for a day. So you gotta jump on those trends fairly quickly to create content. If Google Trends or Twitter's hashtags, if that's not really within your realm, then I would recommend you go to Instagram or you go to TikTok and you just consume content. But you want to consume content intentionally. So you want to check out creators that are similar to you or that you think your ideal audience is consuming. So you want to check out their content. You want to see what type of content they're creating, what type of content they're talking about, and how they lay out their content. Additionally, you also want to click on their comments to see if their followers or their audience is asking any type of questions. And now you will take those findings, so you will really analyze the content, you will analyze the questions that are being asked in the comments, and use all that knowledge to create content for your audience. And lastly, a great place to find content ideas, content inspiration is by going to Answer the Public. Answer the Public is a website that you can use to put in your keyword, your search terms, and Answer the Public will spit out all the content search terms that are looked up by users on the internet. So you find most Googled questions about whatever keyword you're putting in. Once you see all the results coming back, you can go through the questions and you can see what type of content you can create from that. Another strategy that you can use to increase post engagement is by posting at the right time. And now if you're thinking to yourself, well, duh, Nina, of course posting at the right time will most likely increase my engagement, but I don't know what is the right time. Is there even a right time? Generally speaking, there is no wrong or right time to post. And especially when you're starting out, you might Google, what is the best time to post? What's the best time to post on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, or TikTok? And generally speaking, again, there is no right or wrong time to post. And Googling that will give you an answer, just a generic time frame that might work for others, but that might not work for you, especially if your audience is not local, but your audience is across the US, or you have an international audience. So what Google might suggest to you, post on Instagram at 6 p.m. Well, 6 p.m. Pacific time maybe is a great idea, but at 9 p.m. on the East Coast, maybe they're not on their phones anymore. Or in an international audience, they might be sleeping at that time. So instead of Googling answers, you need to use your post insights. And I'm not referring to the analytics on, for example, your Instagram account or on Facebook telling you what is the best time to post. I need you to look at your actual posts. I need you to analyze each post, look at the engagement, look at the amount of comments you get, the amount of shares you received, the amount of likes you got, and the amount of follows you received from the post. And I need you to do this for every single post. Once you do this, you might be able to analyze a pattern. So for example, every time you post between the hours of 3 and 4, you get more likes compared to a morning post. So at the end of the day, to find the best posting time is by analyzing your own posts. And that might take some time. You might have to do it for a week, you might have to do it for 2 weeks, you might even have to do it for a month. You just have to try out different times and then analyze what will give you the best results. For example, do your reels perform better during the evening hours or during the morning hours? Another strategy you can use to increase post engagement is by aligning your content with current events. And I mentioned it earlier that you can go to Google Trends and then you can look at Twitter's hashtags, at Twitter's trending hashtags to see what people are currently talking about. And trust me, if there's an event worth talking about, it's on Twitter. I live in California, we have earthquakes here, and every time there's an earthquake, you will know about it on Twitter. So if you ever wonder whether this was a real earthquake or not, just go to Twitter, open it up, put on hashtag earthquake or hashtag earthquake LA, and you see tons of tweets. And incorporating trending events might help you to drive more traffic to your channels and get people to consume your content as long as it's aligning with your brand. Incorporating trending events can help you to drive traffic to your channels as long as the trending event aligns with your brand. So you don't want to talk about something that is totally off brand, has nothing to do with your product, service, or brand in general. People are likelier to stop on your post and to take the time to read it, take the time to engage with it, if it's current or if it aligns with their interest. So for example, if you talk about political stuff, if you are all about politics, then you can use current events to your advantage to create content that is newsworthy and that people want to read about. Hence, they will engage with your account. Or let's say you talk about sport, you talk about the NFL, you talk about hockey, you talk about soccer, maybe even talk about the World Cup that is starting. You want to use all those events and talk about them online to get more people to consume your content. I just want you to keep in mind that trending hashtags and current events are great, to increase engagement on your post, but also keep in mind that those events are very short-lived and that you have to really be on it. So you have to create a content in the moment that aligns with those events. So you really have to be able to look at a current event and come up with something that you can create within the next couple of hours before that event is not as newsworthy anymore. Another way to increase post engagement is by using the right hashtags. And now you might think to yourself, well, hashtags, should I still be using hashtags? Are they still around? What's going on with hashtags? And let me tell you, hashtags or the use of hashtags definitely changed and evolved in the couple of years. So at the beginning, we just slammed random hashtags, no Instagram posts, and everything got great engagement. And that really evolved. So right now we're at a point where hashtags are still great. I still use them myself. Honestly, I still use almost up to 30 hashtags on Instagram. I use hashtags on Twitter, on Pinterest, and occasionally on Facebook or LinkedIn. But on those platforms, I use hashtags more so to bring a point across or just to hashtag my company. But hashtags nowadays can be seen as a search tool. So hashtags allow you for your content to be searchable online. And just like we talked about experiencing with the best time to post your content, you want to do the same for your hashtags. You want to use different hashtags and you want to experience what hashtags work for you and which ones do not bring in the engagement. For example, let's say I want to talk about how much I love surfing on my Instagram account. And if you follow me, especially if you follow my blog German Blonde, you know that I really do love surfing. I go surfing almost every Saturday whenever the waves or the weather allows me to go surfing. So I really do, and I take my followers with me on that journey. I start my day on my Instagram stories, tell them that I go surfing, insert a couple of clips, and sometimes I even create reels or in-feed posts, depending on if my husband was able to get a great shot or great videos of myself. And when I post those type of videos or that type of content, I could use hashtag surfing and hashtag I love surfing. And those hashtags might seem like a good idea. I mean, they relate to surfing, so why shouldn't I be using them? Well, these are very generic hashtags. Hashtag surfing is super generic, and as soon as you post this, your post will get lost in the millions of other posts already online. So instead of being generic, I need you to be more specific. And if we stick with our surfing example, I would be using hashtag surfing Venice Beach and hashtag wave storm. And wave storm is the name of the brand of my board. And hashtag surfing Venice Beach includes my activity and my location, which makes it a little bit more specific for people in the area or also want to look for surfing spots in Venice. So the best way to approach hashtags is by combining your activity, for example, hiking, or biking or surfing, with your location. So for example, Los Angeles, Venice Beach, Manhattan Beach, New York, Miami Beach. So you want to take your activity plus your location. And then you could do, for example, hiking Los Angeles or hiking Orange County or hiking Austin. So wherever you are, you want to combine this. What you can also do, combine your profession with your location or the year. And your profession could be photography or photographer, content creator, blogger, and then you want to use your location. So for my blog, I use Fashion Blogger Los Angeles or LA Fashion Blogger. Or you can include the year, so you can say Fashion Blogger 2022 or Photographer 2022. And using the more specific hashtags, so for example, using your activity or using your profession in combination with a location will allow you to be more relevant. Users are more likely to go to Instagram or go online to search based on locations. For example, if they want to find out a new cafe or a new restaurant, or if they're planning a trip in the city, they're more likely to use the city and an activity in the search terms, so your post is more likely to show up. Another great way to increase post engagement, of course, is by creating engaging content. And creating engaging and share-worthy content is easier said than done. Besides posting high quality content that is pleasant on the eye, whether this is video content or video content, you also need to write captivating captions. And a lot of content creators make the mistake of just posting amazing pictures, amazing videos, but totally forget about the caption. People are more likely to take the time and engage with your post if you have a caption that really resonates with them, that speaks to them on an emotional level. And connecting with someone on an emotional level can be achieved by you talking about something, for example, that happened in your life, and maybe it resonates with someone and your viewer thinks like, hey, this also happened to me. Of course, I understand this person. And connecting with someone emotionally could be that you make them laugh, that you make them sad, that you make them think, or something that really connects with them deep down. And if you have difficulties coming up with captions that are emotionally enticing or that are hooking your viewers, just pretend you're writing to your best friend. Really speak from your experience and write as if you would be writing to your best friend. And if you're talking about other people, if you're talking about other brands in your caption or in your post in general, always make sure to tag them. When you tag them, this will notify the person you tagged in, and you have a better chance of getting reposted or even getting a response from that person, which then can increase post engagement. Another strategy that I want to share with you and that I've talked in my last episode is repurposing your content. Repurposing your content can help you to increase post engagement. And if you haven't seen my last episode, I will definitely check it out. I really break it down how one video can be broken down into 7 different content pieces online. So really the best approach and best strategy to recycle your content online to increase post engagement. But ultimately, you want to break down a video or a blog post into bite-sized pieces online that you can spread all over social media. You want to create quotes from your videos that you can then post onto Twitter or Instagram. And you also want to create infographics from, let's say, a blog post or a video that you then can post on Pinterest. And if you want to know how to strategically repurpose and recycle your content, check out my last episode. Another way to increase post engagement is by working with influencers. Working with influencers can be an easy way to create buzz and awareness around your brand, especially if you're a smaller brand or if you're relatively unknown. Many influencers out there might be willing to work with you on a product exchange basis or even for a small monetary compensation. So if you want to work with influencers, the best way to approach the whole situation is just go out there, identify influencers, and again, you can use those hashtags we talked about. So for example, if you are a fashion brand or if you're a skincare brand, you can look for skincare bloggers and then your city if you want to make it city relevant, or you can just look for skincare bloggers or skincare enthusiasts and find and identify influencers that way. Once you identify them, I recommend reach out to at least 100 influencers online. You can either email them or you can reach out to them on Instagram, seeing if they would be open to collaborate with you. And before you start working with any influencers, definitely create an outlining on what you expect from them. So is it one Instagram post? Is it a reel? Is it just a story? Do you just want your brand to be mentioned? Or should this be a post that's totally allocated towards your brand? Really define what you want and also provide hashtags and any brand mentionings that you want the influencer to use. And besides working with influencers, you can also work with other brands. So you can collaborate with other brands as long as they don't compete with you. So for example, if you're a skincare brand, you could collaborate with your local flower shop, or you can collaborate with a company that sells silk pillows or silk masks, silk sleeping masks. So these products will enhance your skincare, but they won't compete with them. Back when I worked at the skincare company, we did that. We worked with a flower company together and created a whole giveaway. The flower company posted on their Instagram and the skincare company back then posted on their Instagram, and the giveaway ran at the same time. It was very coordinated and both brands gained followers and awareness out of that. So you can create a giveaway, or if you want to take it a step further, you can even create an exclusive bundle that's available for a limited amount of time. So for example, if we think about holidays like Mother's Day, if you're a skincare brand, you can work with a flower company together and you can create some sort of Mother's Day appreciation bundle that your audience can purchase. And my last strategy that I want to share with you is post as much content as possible. Of course, that's a no-brainer, posting as much content as possible to as many channels as possible. But I've seen so many brands, so many content creators, and even clients of mine that only used one social media outlet. I've seen so many brands only using Instagram or only using Facebook, and they're a little bit scared to dip their feet into the water of, let's say, Instagram Reels or TikToks because they think, I don't think my audience is on that channel. But honestly, you need to be anywhere and everywhere. And I understand that being anywhere and everywhere is not the easiest, but if you create a long form video or if you're just creating small reels, you can easily distribute them on Instagram Reels, TikTok, YouTube Shorts, Facebook. You can even post them on LinkedIn. You can give daily updates on your Instagram story, and you can also tweet them out. And then long form videos or long form blog content can live on your website or on YouTube. Remember, users prefer different networks to consume your content. So you want to make sure you publish your content to as many social media networks as possible to have the highest chances of people consuming your content. As you can see, there's a lot of things you can do to increase engagement on your account. It just takes time, it takes willingness to do it, and it just takes trial and error. You just got to go out there, you got to try different strategies and see which strategy works for you to increase post engagement. And that also led us yet again to another episode of the Content Marketing Cheat Sheet podcast. I'm so glad you tuned in today, and I cannot wait to see you next week. Until then, goodbye, or how we say in Germany, auf Wiedersehen.